Welcome everyone to Cinema Regulars, the movie review show where we see so many movies in theaters that the employees know us by name and they don't ask us what movies we're seeing, they ask us how many. Now, today we are hot off a brand new movie day. We went and checked out Captain America: Brave New World. Steve Rogers has now incorrectly passed his shield down not to Bucky but to Mr. Mackey, and we'll see how that
Mr.
plays out
Mackey.
for him in a minute. After that, we have the newest Stephen King adaptation based off the book you see on the shelf behind me. The Monkey, written and directed by Osgood Perkins, the same person who wrote and directed Longlegs, which was also a nice surprise from last year. And then we will round our night off with a fun little kids movie, Dog Man, which was written and illustrated, I think, also by Dav Pilkey, the author of Captain Underpants.
Mm-hmm.
Books, not the movies.
Yes.
I don't think he authored and drew the movies, but he did the books. I'm
He did
fairly
do the
certain.
books, of which the movies were based on.
That's true. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe because it really helps out our channel, and be sure to use the timestamps below to skip ahead to your favorite movie or jump straight to the rankings if that's all you care about. And without further ado, then, let's hop into our first movie of the night, Captain America: Brave New World. Take her away, Isaac.
Sam finds himself in the middle of an international incident after meeting with President Thaddeus Ross. He must soon discover the reason behind a nefarious global plot before the true mastermind has the entire world seeing red. Oh, seeing red?
That's in the description.
That's in the description. I like they're tongue in cheeking it like it's not all over the fucking promotional material for this goddamn movie.
Well, because the way the movie plays out, you would almost expect that the Red Hulk is supposed to be some kind of surprise, or some kind of thing, but he's all over the marketing, so you're just sitting in the theater waiting for Red Hulk to show up for the 5 minutes they had enough budget for him to be on screen for.
That's the other thing. Okay, so first off, this movie's pacing horribly done. Like
very
it's
bad.
really
very bad.
very bad. So they throw first off, they try to get you to care for this character that has literally never existed at all in the entire MCU until this movie.
No, he was just in Endgame. Captain America gave him his shield. I don't know what you're talking about here. Come on, man.
Nah, I'm talking about Joaquin. Everyone knows Joaquin, right?
Phoenix?
Actually, I honestly I kept wanting to call him that through the whole movie.
Joaquin Phoenix?
Like every time like every single time he pulled up, I'm just like, his name's Joaquin Phoenix. Like, I cannot tell you the kid's last name, but he's just this dude, and he's like, I guess, like he's basically using Sam's old suit to
go on.
Yeah, I guess.
They keep saying it's his old stuff, but it's like completely different.
It's green.
I mean, you could paint it, but like it doesn't even look like the same stuff.
True. But anyway, so let's start with the whole Red Hulk thing. Like, we'll do that.
Okay.
Because the whole movie wants to like the whole point of it is that you have a mastermind who's setting up these dominoes and knocking them down. That's the whole point of it. No, that's what they're trying.
I already disagree with what they're saying that it is, if that's the case.
Well, because like, so the plot is you have this guy who has super intelligence who is seeing the probabilities, so he's forcing events to happen to or at least until the ultimate plan is revealed. He's trying to plunge the world into World War III, basically. He's trying to get America and Japan to go to start a war so it would ruin Ross's legacy. But then you come to find out, no, that's not the reason why. He just wants him to turn into Red Hulk. That's the whole point. That's his thing.
Yeah, to ruin Ross's legacy.
Yeah, but like,
so here's the thing. Times have been grim, but here's the thing. Look, so his whole plan, right? So this is supposed to be the leader, right? He doesn't look
Yeah.
anything like the leader. He looks more like a fucking zombie.
True.
So his plan, General Ross, Harrison Ford, he's got the leader locked up on like a prison thing for crimes committed
Like
in a movie older than I am, probably. Older than my brothers, definitely.
Not even a crime, by the way. Like, actually,
Not even
like,
a crime.
I'm not even kidding. Like, I'm not even kidding. Literally, all this man did, the only crime he could possibly actually charge him with is aiding Bruce. Okay, let's get this part out of the way because there's so much to unpack with this
Here's
movie.
a pause.
Before we get further, so the leader, the bad guy of this movie, is Steven Stills, a man
Stearns.
or Stearns. Sorry, Steven Stearns, a man
the only reason
who
I
has
know
not
that is because I know the actual comic character.
Yeah. He is a man who has not existed since almost before the MCU actually officially existed. Like, it was he has been in the MCU since Incredible Hulk, a movie that a majority of MCU fans didn't know was connected because not a single character that is in that movie is in the rest of the MCU as that cast.
Yeah,
None of
they
them.
They recast
Edward Norton.
Hulk. Yeah.
Yeah, Edward Norton was recast for Mark Ruffalo. They've now recast Ross to be Harrison Ford. The only man they kept from that movie
here's the thing.
The only man they kept from that movie was this man, and no one fucking cared about him because they're using him from a cliffhanger that a movie that was made over 2 decades ago that no one really gives a shit about anymore. He's the bad guy of this.
Did they recast General Ross for the other Marvel movies?
Yeah, I think so.
From the first one?
Hold please.
Because the only reason they recast Harrison Ford is because that guy died.
Yeah, because they had William Hurt. Yeah, he died in 2022, but he's not in any other MCU projects. I don't think, because I don't think Ross is actually in any other. Oh, my bad.
He's in every Avengers movie, dude.
I was wrong.
He was like the leading man of the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, the Thunder. He's literally only in Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. That's it.
Yeah, so all the Avengers movies except
that's my
the
bad.
First one.
That's my bad. Because he's not really like a.
Oh, because I'm watching that shit and they keep here's General Ross. I'm like, when the fuck is he gonna be red? Please, come on. It's been 5 movies.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And I just kept getting mad.
That's my bad. But anyway,
Do you want me to cut out a lot of that rant or?
Yeah. So, well, no, it's fine. You can see me being bad. I lied to you, trying to gaslight you. But no, anyways, but the villain of this movie is a character that was left on a cliffhanger from a movie no one cares about anymore. That was the same reason why Abomination was a really stupid thing to bring back in She-Hulk. I mean, besides She-Hulk being made, was because no one cared about Abomination. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, people forgot about the Incredible Hulk movie. They really did. Because Edward Norton was the Hulk in that. And now everyone just associates the Hulk as Mark Ruffalo. So clearly that's a different movie. But it's not. It never has been. It's literally the second ever MCU movie. before anyone even knew what it was going to be. And that's like what this is almost like a continuation of. On top of that, is the continuation of another Marvel movie that no one fucking watched, which was Eternals, which they're finally, came out like 2-3 years ago, and now they're just now addressing the fucking giant celestial thing that is emerged in the Indian Ocean. Like,
I think they kind of got away with not addressing that because nobody watched Eternals, so none of the audience knew about the giant celestial in the ocean either.
fair. I was one of the
So
few people that watched the Eternals.
for this movie's wild because the required like viewing list to be able to keep up with what's happening is the Edward Norton Hulk movie, which, as you said, not everyone knows is actually part of the MCU canonically. Eternals, which nobody watched, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which nobody watched.
Well, that's the other thing, is that Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which only people who had Disney Plus watched.
Yeah.
Or could have watched, is the other thing. Like the fact that...
Yeah, there were plenty of people who had Disney Plus and didn't watch it still.
True. I mean, it still had better viewing numbers than The Acolyte. Just saying.
That's not hard.
Fair. That is that bar is so low, it's a tripping hazard in hell. But like you said, the required viewing is wild. But even all that aside, even if you understand all of it, which I did because I did watch all of that, it's still a coalescence of shit that's like completely irrelevant now. Because like for the past 2 years, they've been setting up Kang. Really?
Well,
or at least they've been trying to.
Who like Loki season 1 and then like Ant-Man. And then Jonathan Majors got into some trouble and now they're moving away from that.
Yeah, now they need Doctor Doom, which we're not even going to talk about all that right now.
So
we'll
diving into the movie itself.
Yeah.
It's quite boring.
It is.
It's got the same problem that the Star Wars prequel had, the first episode, Phantom Menace, is because it's mostly politics in a fictional universe where you aren't exactly entirely clear, and well, not only invested, but like clear on like the lines of the sides. Like, are you pro Ross or anti Ross? I'm like, I just met him. Like, what are you talking about? I don't know what the problem is. Sam's like, I don't like President Ross. I'm like, why? I don't remember, actually.
He doesn't like him because, like, dude literally went on a warpath hunting down the Hulk for, like, the better part of a decade.
Was Sam friends with Hulk?
Well, no, it's just, like, he's a war... Ross is a general. He's a war general, and so for that man to now be
there was a threat to America, and we tried to stop it.
Yeah,
there you go. So
he perceived the Hulk as a threat.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Which he was.
True, the Hulk is, but in doing so, he was also hunting Banner, which is where the people are like divided on that. Is the whole point of Ross.
I didn't watch the Edward Norton one, just saying. Anyways, well, that's the thing. I didn't watch the Edward Norton Hulk. I didn't watch Eternals. I don't remember most of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I still followed along fairly decently. But, like, again, like, you still don't have, like, investment in all these, like, fake politics that aren't fleshed out, like, at all in any ways. And it's just people like talking like, oh, this and that and this and that. We need to do that. And I'm just like, can something happen? So what the story structure is brainless action, boring politics, broken up by a little bit of brainless action, and then more boring politics, broken up by a little bit of brainless action, followed up by, guess what? More boring politics, and then and then he turned
Red
red,
Hulk.
and then he red, and then they fight, and then bad green screen, and then the end.
You mean you forgot to add bad green screen in there a lot more than just the once, but
Well, I meant just like that scene where it was super obvious, but yeah, there was quite a lot of bad green screen.
You also forgot the other thing that this movie did. It established that adamantium's here, guys. You know that thing that Wolverine has in him? Yeah, we have adamantium in the MCU now.
Hey, what do you plan to do with
Cool.
that? And don't say Wolverine because we literally just got that last movie.
Yeah, and not even in the same universe.
Isaac, you're the Disney exec. You're Kevin Feige. Tell me what you plan to do with this adamantium.
Adamantium.
Yeah, what are you gonna do with it? What?
We're gonna
Where
refine it.
Where is it gonna come to play into the overarching lore of the movie?
It's like vibranium, but better.
I'm aware with that, but introducing adamantium, there's only two characters tied to that. One of them you just used.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he's not even in your universe.
And the other one is a Spider-Man villain nobody cares about. So what are you planning to do with this adamantium?
We have adamantium.
I hate you.
But we have adamantium. But no, which again, by the way, so this adamantium comes from
I'm pretty adamant about that.
Yeah. The adamantium, they say that like so this celestial being.
Here we go.
Like that was apparently inside the Earth from Eternals, was stopped by the Eternals, from emerging from Earth and killing everyone on it. Okay, so but it's still like there, and so you know, this celestial body emerged from the ocean. So what are people to do about it? They're gonna freaking go and mine it, I guess. And while they were there, oh hey, we found adamantium. Here's my problem with that. They say it like they were like messing around in it, and then like in the core or like somewhere in the island they found adamantium. The reason I have a problem with that,
bad guy.
Yeah, the reason I have a problem with that is that the whole reason that Celestial is dead is because the chick that killed it, her power is that she can turn one thing into like one element into a completely different element. She changes it from one to another. So she changed this. She basically turned the living Celestial into an inanimate rock. Presumably was what it was. But if they found adamantium on it, that means that the entire thing is made of adamantium, because that's how her power works.
Now it's my turn to be Kevin Feige. Mr. Isaac, our stance on your question is I don't care. My second point is give me your money.
Real. Like, oh my god, like, there's so much lazy ass writing in this. Like, they're like, oh, he's super smart and he found a way to mind control people and plant suggestions by flashing lights. And it's like, well, I guess if he has super intelligence, yeah, I guess that's a thing he can do. Sure, why not?
Could he not just flash the lights at General Ross and then make him angry and then he Hulk out?
Nah, he wanted him to do it himself.
But it would be though.
Nah. Because he'd be mind controlling him to get angry. He wanted him to get angry of his own accord.
But it would accomplish the same goal.
No, because then they could just say, he mind controlled him to get angry, and then he turned into the Hulk.
But he was going to turn into the Hulk anyway.
Well, yeah, but he wanted him to get angry of his own accord.
Who cares? What does that matter?
Red Hulk.
It doesn't matter. That's the thing.
It doesn't. No. But
so
anyway.
His master plan, this guy, Mr. D-I-G, what does that spell? His plan is like I started explaining this a while ago. So the whole plan is Harrison Ford. He's got like heart problems, right? And
Yes.
instead of going to like a normal doctor who can just fix that and then he'll be fine, he went to the guy that he imprisoned 20 years ago and infected with Hulk blood, brain, whatever, and he was like, "You come up with solution to fix my heart," and he trusted him for some reason. And the green guy said, I made these pills that'll make your heart better. And just like that, he just started taking whatever the bad guy made for him. But little
Mhm.
did he know that in those pills was gamma radiation, which I don't think that's how gamma radiation works. Anyways, so it's basically just like building up gamma rays in his body all these years, and then he like brainwashes people around him, and then calls them on the phone and says he ha ha ha, and then to piss him off, to make him turn Red Hulk.
Yeah.
Like literally, he just like mind controls some guy close to him and like makes him cause an issue, and then he calls him on the phone and says na 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 boo boo to get him mad. Hits him with the
Yeah.
neener over FaceTime, and then
And
he
then when
goes
that doesn't, and then when that doesn't, and then when that
"Grrr."
doesn't work, and then when that doesn't work, he just turns himself in.
Oh yeah, my plan B is I give up. I give up and turn
But
myself in. He's gonna get
by
mad
turning
anyways.
myself in, he'll get mad. He'll get mad that I am revealing what he did.
Yeah, and then I'll just
But
play what I said on loudspeaker, which he could have
yeah,
done from the beginning when
he
they're
could have.
doing
Yes,
that thing, when they're doing that like adamantium presentation, and he hijacks like the old guy's mind to like shoot
could
at
have
him
done
or
it
whatever.
from there. Yes.
Just hijacked the speakers and said all like, he's like, you did this and this and that and whatever. I mean, I know that he farmed like clips of Ross talking from throughout the movie from the other phone calls, but like
Yeah.
you could have just done it anyways. Like you had like all the stats and like screenshots and this and that and the other thing.
Yeah.
You had everything. You had him asking you to make this stuff for you under duress,
Mhm.
or he won't let you go. You think you have that shit? You could have just done it at the beginning. He's so stupid for being
Yeah.
able to see into
So
like 80
the
billion possible futures.
yeah, the other thing. So I actually hadn't finished what I was talking about earlier about
Oh, go
the
ahead.
lazy writing in this movie, because there's a lot. There's a lot of lazy writing in this
Well,
movie.
now we're
Uh,
even.
well, true. Like they're like, because there's his thing where they're just like, yeah, he has super intelligence, so he can mind control people. And it's like, I guess, yeah, I guess we have to accept that. But then the other one is that, oh, we need this chick who's the
Don't
president's
bring up
head
the
of
chick.
security.
Don't bring up
The
the chick.
president's head
I'm
of
gonna be.
the
I'm
president's head
so
of
mad.
security. Like we're like she's the president's head of
I really
security.
don't like her.
How do we establish that she's a like an actual threat? Do we just show that she's good at fighting? Nah, we're just gonna say she's ex-widow.
She was in the
That works.
red room. She's ex
Yeah.
Black Widow. Okay. I don't care because she's 5'1" and 80 pounds. So I don't care
Yeah.
how many jujitsus you know. A 300-pound guy is not gonna go down by that.
Yeah. It's
It's and it's not just like, oh, it's whatever. It's like you casted the smallest woman in the world and said like, oh, she's such a badass, right? I'm like, I don't care. It's not threatening. It's not. I'm sorry, but it's not. She's
she's
like
not even like
4'8" and
my other
10
thing is like
pounds.
she's oh, the other thing about the Red Room with the Black Widow, with the Black Widows and everything is like they're another part of their like I don't want to say programming or training or whatever is like seduction training. This woman does not fit that. She's not hot at all. Like
So I believe the character that she's meant to be in the comics is like the Captain America counterpart for Israel. And
Wait, like actually?
yeah, she's like Captain Israel or something. And that's
Jeez.
not her name, but like that's what it is. And in current year, that would not fly very well.
True. So the ultimately all this movie accomplished, really, all it
Nothing.
accomplished for setting anything up for the future of the MCU is that it established that Sam's gonna rebuild the Avengers.
And that they have adamantium now. But however,
That's
that
about
was
it.
all
Yeah.
accomplished within the first 25 minutes of the movie. So the rest of
True.
it is of no consequence. And then we sat through like an eon of credits for the shitty end credit scene where they just say, "There's more coming than you can know." And I'm like, great, that's just vague enough so that we can write any movie and then that it can technically connect to that. That sets
Yeah.
up absolutely nothing of specifics. That has no reason to hype anyone up for any movie coming up ever. Congratulations.
Yeah. It's
And we
like
made those two Marcus Theaters employees wait with us
yeah.
throughout the credits before we left, before they could start sweeping up. And I feel bad for that because we were the only two schmucks stupid enough to sit through the credits for the shitty end credit scene.
True. This movie was like it was just a mismatch. And again, like there's a whole scene. Oh my god. Oh, okay, before we get to this last bad thing, I do want to say one and literally one good thing about this movie. Literally the one good thing about this movie is that while Steven Stearns, the lead or whatever, is a character that everyone forgot about. I actually really like The Incredible Hulk. I've seen it quite a couple times. I think it's a fun movie. Uh the mind control that he does, what he does is he like implants like suggestions into people's brains and then he activates it by playing a song. And the song is called Mr. Blue. And the reason why I like that is because his character in The Incredible Hulk is a guy who is helping Bruce Banner to effectively cure himself of the Hulk. And because they have to be like encrypted and everything, the Hulk is Mr. Green and he is Mr. Blue. And that's like it's a nice little callback and I do like that. Doesn't make up for the rest of the shit in this movie. Like if this movie would have been made even 10 years ago, it would have maybe been a little better. But
You know what?
like
You know
it
what the
now
funny thing is? You know what the
what?
funny thing is? They reshot this movie twice. They spent
Twice?
180 million. Yeah, because they did test screenings and they were really bad, and they said, "Okay, we'll fix it." And they did another test screening, and they're like, "Wow, this is still bad." And they're like, "Okay, we'll fix it." They spent 180 million dollars just on reshoots. This thing's a fucking mess, dude.
That is not surprising at all in the slightest. This
Yeah,
was
I keep seeing people say like, "Oh, it was adequate. It was, serviceable. It was decent. It was okay." And I'm like, "It's not. It's not
this
okay.
movie
It's
has
so boring. It's so
dog
boring."
of the three movies we have on the podcast today, like all of them, uh of all of them, Captain America has the lowest score of of anything. Literally anything. Like IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, and Google users, all of them hated this movie like more than the rest of them. It has a
Not good.
50 it has a 49% Rotten Tomatoes score.
Yeah. Dog,
That
I
is
had to I had to like, we're just like I'm not leaping. I'm not sleeping. I'm just resting my eyes. I get hit that in the movie theater. That it's like Jurassic World Dominion where like I was like I just need to I'm listening, but I need to like close my eyes for a bit because like, damn. The thing is that Sam is such like a not good character because he was fine as Falcon. He was cool as Falcon because he had like all this tech and stuff like that.
He was a good Falcon.
But like he's such a bad hero that they have to have him keep his wings. So he has the shield, he has the wings, and then they have to give him wings from Wakanda so they absorb and explode out vibrations like Black Panther does.
Yeah.
Because he's so weak. Because he doesn't have the serum. He fucking refuses to take the fucking serum. Because he's stupid. And because of that, they have to compensate by just making him Black Panther.
Kind of, yeah.
Everyone in the MCU is either going to become Iron Man or become Black Panther. That's just what they've been doing.
Pretty much, yeah. Like that's the other thing that they like had in this movie that I found really, really dumb is like, why is Bucky trying to become a congressman?
No, I don't
Especially
know
since he's going to be in Thunderbolts later this year. Like Bucky has
because he's quote unquote getting too old for this shit.
But back to Bucky, they have this whole conversation where Bucky's like, he like.
You don't remember what they were talking about.
No, I don't even remember the exact words he said, but because
they
were
talking
so many
about
things.
Like, are you sure you made? I made the right decision not taking the serum, and I'm like, fucking no, you should have took it because you're stupid. And should I be better at my job or worse?
Yeah, and Bucky's sitting here like, what was it? He's like, Steve didn't give you the shield because you're strong. He gave it to you because because you're you.
I wouldn't.
Like, I don't know. It's this movie is just a mess. It really really is. Like, again, you could tell the reshoots it was not great. At least, let's put it this way. At least with Black Panther 2, you can tell while it was a rough movie, it was out of necessity. Like, they had an entire No. What I mean is that they had a completely different movie that they then had to remake an entirely different movie because.
No, I'm aware. I'm saying you could have just not made the movie.
Yeah, you could have either not. I do at some level respect them for not just recasting him. Like, they're like, no, that's his role. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of
apparently General Ross was not important enough to do that.
Yeah, I guess.
When that guy died, he's like, he's white, so you can recast him every day of the week.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. The reshoots are palpable. Like, you can tell. And there's the whole fact of that you brought up that oh yeah, there was 2 points you brought up that I wanted to bring up. One was that they're trying to pass off the $180 million in reshoots as the actual budget for this movie.
They were.
And then
like,
on top,
you had like 270 after that. So
yeah. But then there's the other thing that bringing it back around to Sam was a bad pick for the Shield is that Sam as Captain America was not well received in the comics either, was he?
No, everyone goes just like, oh, that's how it happened in the comics. I'm like, yeah, because some idiot writers made that decision, and then those comics didn't sell at all because nobody liked it. It's like, wow, they looked at the comic at the store and they said, what a stupid decision. It should have been Bucky, and then they put it back on the shelf to rot.
Yeah, which is the other thing is like they I don't know why. I don't get it. I really don't. Because Bucky had a whole redemption arc and everything. Like, he did. Because, honestly, I'm not even kidding. That's where I thought Falcon and the Winter Soldier was going. Like,
No,
Cap gave the shield to Sam, and then
it was
Sam
all
will be like,
crescendoing. It was all crescendoing into preachy politics.
yeah, it's just
You
it's
need to
not
do better, Senator.
yeah,
Right. Shut up,
it's a
Mr.
mess.
Mackey.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a mess. Like it's
I
not
have I have been calling him Mr. Mackey exclusively. I have not used his first name in like months now.
why
So
do you call
that's
him Mr. Mackey?
because that's the fucking drugs are bad MK student counselor on South Park.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've
Honestly,
just been
we
that's the funniest
we
thing to
watched
come out of this. The best
we
thing,
watched a it's really funny. This is his like biggest role of his life, basically. And like
unfortunately.
unfortunately, yeah, and we watched a movie better than this that he was in last year.
Yeah, Elevation. Pretty decent film. I wish they would have done a little bit more with it, but you know, not bad. I definitely enjoyed that better than this because
True. It at least was interesting.
and coherent and wasn't boring. And there were
Yeah,
things
like
happening on
marketing
the screen.
while the marketing is not the worst thing, like Red Hulk should not have been all over this. He really shouldn't have been because the
No,
movie is
they
shot
needed
in
him
such a
to
way.
because nobody cares about anything else. If you had just Mr.
True.
Mackey flying around on screen the whole time and everything else, and like the leader in the shadow, it's like, who cares? Who cares? And
Yeah.
Gus
It's
Fring on this movie for no purpose, and still
well,
nobody
that's the
cared.
other thing. Nowhere in the promotional stuff for this movie does it feel like the leader is actually the bad guy.
There's a
Like they
single scene of him like on the phone, and he's like, "Who's controlling who?" Because like literally the other two guys, Sidewinder and Red Hulk, are dominating the fucking trailers.
also they did that and now he's in jail, so the Red Hulk thing fucking doesn't matter. Cuz
It
he's
doesn't
in
matter
goddamn
at
jail.
all. Hey, we did get to see Harrison Ford's fucking naked, saggy ass body
Oh
on
my god, he
screen.
looked decrepit. Fucking stop acting, my guy. He looked like the fucking Crypt Keeper's dad. What the fuck?
All right.
Oh my god. Let's move on to the rankings for this because we could bitch about this movie
Yeah.
all day.
Uh I'll let you go ahead, seeing as you saw all the other movies and this is a grand crescendo for you.
Yeah, no, this is straight up like 4 out of 10. Like I was originally going to give it a 5 out of 10 just cuz I felt not a single emotion during this whole movie. Like it was just the amount of times I remember finding myself being like, that's not how Captain America is supposed to act. Like the Falcon, sure,
Yeah.
but Captain America, like he's this like symbol is what he
But
is,
he's
and
not Steve Rogers. He's himself, Isaac.
it's still
Shut up.
it sucks.
Nobody likes
Anyway,
you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Mackey, but people are not a fan. And I'm people, not a fan.
and of course,
Okay.
and go ahead.
I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. It was incredibly boring. It was so boring. I try to go into every movie with somewhat of an open mind. You know, like I've heard nothing but bad things about it, but let me just experience the film for what it is and I'll see where people get that from. I'll find some things that I liked about it. I did enjoy the Red Hulk bits quite a bit. That was probably the strongest point of the movie. But you know, I personally my
Well,
gripe is that it's very boring and I don't care about all the politics that are in it and it doesn't make any sense and it's literally impossible to get yourself invested in that because it's politics of a fictional world. Like A, they don't matter, and B, they're not clearly defined. So how is anyone supposed to be invested in either sides? You're just supposed to agree with the good guy, disagree with the bad guy, and blah blah blah. Here's people talking in a conference room for about a fourth of the movie. And I'm like, please just show me the red guy.
Real. Because that was the only action of the movie that wasn't boring as shit.
It was.
Because
I went to the bathroom during an action scene because I knew nothing was gonna happen.
You did.
Yeah.
It sucks because I was really excited about this because I thought it was gonna be he turns into the Red Hulk and gets away, and now we have an actual good Hulk again, and not what they did to the Hulk. Because that's
they
the
turned the
coolest thing
Hulk
about
into
the Hulk.
Mark Ruffalo.
No, that's the coolest thing about the Hulk, by the way, is that he is just a rage monster. So when he fights and when he's doing stuff, like all of it has weight and impact because it just shows the sheer strength of this dude. And now he's just a guy.
It used to be Mark Ruffalo turning into the Hulk, but now they turned the Hulk into Mark Ruffalo.
Real. It's not fun.
It's like, yay.
All right. It was nice to see some Hulk destruction, but that was it. Anyway, moving on.
All right. Moving on to our next movie of the night, we have The Monkey. Take her away, Isaac.
When twin brothers find a mysterious wind-up monkey, a series of outrageous deaths tear their family apart. 25 years later, the monkey begins a new killing spree, forcing the estranged siblings to confront the cursed toy.
Cool. So I'd like to start this off first and foremost by saying that both you and I did read the short story that the movie was based off of, and off of quite loosely, which is fine because it is a short story. It's about 30 pages, an hour and a half, an hour even at the most reading it. One of the major differences that I'd like to bring up is that in the book, it's the cymbal banging monkey, which is very good because it plays into this constant drone that gets into your head as the characters it gets into their head that jang 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 jang, like it drives them mad like that. But in the movie, it's a drumming monkey, and the little drumstick twirls around, and he bangs on the drum, and then when the drum stops, somebody dies, which gives off a different but equal sense of terror, as it's a suspenseful drum roll, wondering when it's gonna stop, and as it's ramping up to the crescendo, and you feel that rising up, and then boom, and then someone dies. It's a completely separate use of the monkey instruments and which kinds of fear and emotion that taps into.
Yeah.
And they're both pretty good. But the reason for the change, I don't know if you're aware of this.
Oh.
The reason why they changed it to the drums instead of the cymbals is because Disney had copyrighted the cymbal monkey for Toy Story 3.
Are you kidding me? Actually?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am kidding you. Disney had copyrighted the cymbal monkey for Toy Story 3, and they just
didn't want to even risk the loss.
We don't want to risk that. He's gonna do the drums. But I
have to say,
the drums were
this
nice.
Monkey. Yeah, they are nice. It also is a bit more suspenseful as well, not just for the drum roll, because the way that the monkey works is you turn the key, and it primes itself. The way it
works in the movie. Because that was another difference.
So in the book, the way the monkey just kills whenever it wants to.
It doesn't need to be wound up. It'll just do it on its own, and people will die.
Yes. But it just likes killing is the whole thing.
It's like a ticking time bomb kind of thing, because it'll sit on their in the book, it'll sit on their shelf for years at a time, and they won't even look at it, and then randomly in the middle of the night it'll just start jang 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 jang, and then they're just oh god, what's happening, and then their babysitter dies or something.
Yeah. So but in the movie, what they do is someone turns the key, and then it primes itself, and it raises the drumstick above its head, and it
Mhm.
just sits there, and it waits until it figures out who it wants to kill,
Mhm.
and then it goes. And then once it starts like beating the drums, then it kills someone. And like all speaking of killing someone,
Here we
holy
go.
fucking shit. Like the kills in this movie are crazy. Uh
Can you even call them kills? They're
no, you
deaths.
can't. They're deaths. Yes. That's the other crazy thing. Is that. But uh
I said
but
this
before
in
we
the
get any
theater,
further,
and I
go ahead.
told you, I said this in the theater, and I told you I'd bring it up. Is that the best way to describe this? Is that every single kill in the movie is a fucking punch to the nuts.
It is.
Because everything happens, and you just curl up and condense and cringe at it. And I saw a review, somebody talking about this movie, and they put it so very well, is that it always goes a step further than you think it does.
Yes.
For instance, in the trailer, there is uh like the air conditioner thing falls off the roof and starts sparking, and then it connects into the puddle of water, which follows up the hose into the pool and like electrifies the water. And there's a lady about to dive in, and he goes, "Wait, wait, 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 wait!" And her hands hit the water, and you see the electrical sparks like shoot up into her, and it cuts. So it's just like, and then like next scene, right?
It cuts. Yeah.
So you're aware that's gonna happen. So when it happens, you're like, oh, here's the kill I saw in the trailer. I mean, they didn't show you everything, but that's where it is. You think, oh, I know where this is going. But then she literally just pops like a fucking balloon, explodes, and her whole leg, I'm talking like up to her hip, severed leg, comes flying at him and just rolls over his shoulder and back like he gets hit with it. It like every single kill takes it a step further than where you
Well, yeah.
think it's going to go.
Like even the other one in the trailer, like the one with the chick who like her head starts on fire. Like you're just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, she's gonna start on
Oh,
fire, and then you saw these, and then you saw like the house, like oh she's gonna burn alive in her house. Okay, whatever, fine.
yeah, her head's
No,
on fire.
she starts so because it cuts after like you see her head on fire. Uh, no, she dies because she stumbles through her house like trying to her head's on fire, she's panicking understandably. She
Runs
runs out
outside.
her she runs out her front door and kind of like stumbles down her steps, gets her foot caught on something, and impales her fucking head like through her face on the fucking for sale sign in front of the house.
And the
And
worst
it
part
freeze
is they
frames there.
freeze frame on there. It's just
And you're just
and then,
left
and then
staring there at it. And it's like, ah!
But they really hit the ground running with the very first kill. First of all, Adam Scott
Yeah.
in this movie, okay? Isaac and I were literally just watching The Severance like 30 minutes before going to see this movie. Like, so
Yeah.
what a fucking wild thing there. I don't know what they did to him for the monkey, but he's so like
He's
malnourished.
Bro
Bro
is
is
gaunt.
gaunt. Like he looks like he's like 90 pounds. Like his face is sunken in and his eyes are falling back into his crevice. But that's besides the point. He brings the monkey into the like pawn shop or whatever. And in the trailer you see the guy and then something like falls over and hits a diver with a harpoon and
Yeah.
it shoots out, and then you see like the blood splatter on the harpoon and against the dollar bill from the trailer. So you think, okay, thing goes off and shoots him, and that's how he dies. So that happens, and then he like looks down, and there's the harpoon with the rope like through his stomach, and he's just like staring, like, oh, like that's not good. Kind of like
Yeah.
looks up, and then the harpoon reels itself back in to the diver toy, and pulls out like yards of his intestines out of his body, and then he just falls over and collapses. And I'm like, that is so. But every single kill in this movie is so much worse than you think it is initially. Like
And then there's
literally
the
every
one,
kill goes a step too far.
the fact that there were so many kills, like I don't normally like we have established
Yes,
my
you do.
like
Yes, you do.
if the camera moves, I go
Yeah,
like
you
if the
have the
camera moves, I go,
iconic noise.
yeah, like
Every single movie, if the camera goes like tilted too much, motion sickness, and I'm like, okay, dude, calm
yeah.
down. But
Yeah, but we'll do that. But this movie, it's warranted. Like there are some deaths in this movie that are like the
yeah, like
one, the,
I'll say,
the worst one.
there were
I don't
two
want to
that got
give.
me to gag
Yeah,
a little bit,
I don't want
almost
to.
got me to gag.
I don't want to talk about all the kills in this movie, but I want to talk about the one that got me, and then and then you can talk about the other one because I guarantee you the one I'm about to bring up
Yeah,
is one of them. There's one where like you know the monkey is about to kill someone, like because it's always obvious kind of thing. Uh, and there's like a wasp nest outside, and
obviously,
uh yeah, ominous wasp nest, and it's like
menacingly.
leaning down, and there's a dude with a gun who's got like the main character at gunpoint, and he like shoots through. He like the gun goes off, and he like shoots through like the windshield, and it hits the wasp nest, and there's a beat, and then you see like one wasp like kind of creep out the hole, and it just sits there, and all of a sudden a fucking harpoon of wasps goes through the fucking hole in the windshield directly into this man's mouth and it filling his like throat and his face full of bees, and then they
Wasps.
fucking eat their way out of his face. Like they just start appearing in dots on his face because they're eating their way out of his face, and I'm just like "Ugh." Like
Yeah,
I
that was
almost
pretty
vomited.
fucking gross.
I was like, oh, not to mention like bees are already like I've gotten better with my phobia of bees, but like that is fucking horrendous.
Wasps.
Like whatever, still like it wasn't even the fact that they like swarmed, it's the fact that they literally like straight shot through the hole in the windshield directly into this man's mouth. Like they were like they did the whole you thing, like they fucking just,
Yeah, that one
oh
was
my god.
mad gross.
uh
The one that got me a little bit was their uncle's death, and he had
oh
been in
yeah.
his sleeping bag and got trampled by horses. Uh, and then the autopsy or whatever, they bring him in, they put him on the table, and they unzip the bag. And they said it in the movie. It looks like somebody dropped kicked a cherry pie or something. They unzip the bag and it's just chunks and red paste, like literally
It's just slop.
paste. It's a fucking liquid at this point. I'm like, oh, oh, like that was a person and now it's a liquid, and I'm like, ugh,
You know,
ugh.
bringing up the uncle's death is actually a really good segue into another thing that's really good about the movie. The comedy in this movie, kind of on point. Like it's pretty
Yeah,
good. Like the
yeah.
uncle's death is one.
It's a dark comedy, like very
Yeah,
dark, very brutal, dark
kind
comedy.
of
It's meant to
almost
be
dry
funny.
in its comedy.
Yeah, and I'll give
But
it that.
like the uncle's death, because they're like when they're kids, they like figure out the monkey thing, and like uh uh Bill no, Hal's the main one. Bill's the other one. Uh Bill is like we should test it. We should see how it goes. And Hal's like, no. No, we can't. And then it just smash cuts like halfway through his fucking word. Like it smash cuts to the uncle's funeral.
Yeah, it's just like we should do it again and see if it kills anyone we know. It's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And here's the funeral.
It's like it's really funny.
Yeah.
Uh
The
it's
other
just
joke I think worked pretty well. I mean, there's like little stuff that's like, alright, that's
yeah.
it's like I get it. Like I get it. Um, nothing like super laugh out loud funny, at least none that I can remember. But there's
Yeah.
something stuff like the air of it. It's meant to be not taken seriously, and it's meant to be a little
Yeah.
absurd, blatantly. But the one I
I mean,
did
it's a
find pretty
monkey
good
killing
is
people.
that is the main character's boss is just this guy, and his whole personality is that he hits his vape, and then he says, "Man, this shit sucks." And this his whole personality. He
Yeah.
said that shit sucks, and he hits his vape. He says that like 3 times. And then later in the movie, he's like trying to get like a vape pod out of a vending machine, and it gets stuck, and he says that shit sucks. And then he hits the vape he does have, and he turns and he steps on a rake. And you're like, oh, great, the rake bit, whatever. And it comes up and it hits the vape and jams it into his throat. And then he turns around and there's like a almost very cartoonish wise. There's a big like vape mod shaped lump in his neck sticking out. He goes, that shit sucks, and then he falls over and dies. And I'm like,
Yeah.
really, man? Like,
Yeah, the
okay,
fact is, so the other thing, let's talk about what the movie is as well. This monkey,
funky.
fucking terrifying, actually. Like,
Oh yeah,
not even talking from a standpoint of it kills people. It's fucking terrifying to look at. First of all, it's massive. It's fucking huge.
yeah. Like
It's the
it, like
size of
in
your
the book,
head.
it's like you know the toy, It's
Yeah.
like this big. The COD zombies, you wind it up and throw it. It's this.
Yeah,
I can't even fit it on my
it's like
screen. It's like
this.
this big. You have to like pick
It's
it up like a child. It's a small child-sized monkey.
Yeah, and like I hope to God that they used, at least for a majority of this movie, and like they made an actual wind up toy
I believe
monkey.
I
I
believe
hope,
they did.
because it looks so fucking terrifying. Like,
Yeah,
first
when
of
you
all,
wind
the
it up,
fact that yeah,
and like it's like the fucking weird lips that it has, they like spring open and the like bares its teeth even wider. Ugh.
the other thing is that like it turns into like a smile as well. Like, it's
Mhm.
not even it just opens up. It's like it's very much in the shape of a smile.
Yeah.
And like the eyes, like they're so big and unblinking. Oh.
And there's some points where like the eyes are just like black voids with just little tiny white dots in them. And
Yeah,
it's
it
like that
is.
stuff's always terrifying. And like the sound cues when it's just like sitting there and it's like like the humming, the droning,
Yeah.
the noises that they add into the sound design whenever it's on screen are just on point. It's so unsettling to look at.
Yeah. So, we've been talking about a lot of the like really good stuff about this movie. There is some negatives to it. The story itself is not great. It's kind of like the main thing of the story is that like the reason they're here is that uh Hal doesn't want to get close to anybody, so like in case the monkey kills them, but he still somehow has a kid. Like, I guess he got close to someone at some point and had a kid. And like to keep his kids safe,
I
he
guess so.
yeah. Like, but so to keep his kids safe from the monkey, he only sees him like 1 week out of a year, and this story takes place during that week. And like the fucking the whole scene with Elijah Wood is fucking wild. I wasn't expecting Elijah fucking Wood to be in this shit, and
I'm
then
gonna
on
be
top.
honest, I forgot he was in it.
Yeah, because he doesn't bear anything on the rest of the movie. The only thing that scene served as was that uh this Elijah Wood is going to legally adopt Hal's son, and so Hal will have no right to him at all.
Yeah.
Which there was another actor in that scene where that was like, what the hell? Because you and I, like you and I have been watching Haven recently, and like one of the actors of in the last season of Haven was in was in the movie as well. She was the mom.
Yeah.
But like anyway, so the whole thing is that his son Petey is fucking, it's his name. Like is super apathetic. Like which is understandable. His dad, seemingly doesn't want anything to do with him. Like he only sees him once in a year, and like he's just kind of a fucking insufferable brat through the whole movie.
Well, I mean, from his perspective, it's kind of warranted. I was like totally expecting a scene like in one of the hotel rooms or whatever, where Hal just like sits him down and says, "Okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but there's this monkey." Like I thought he was going to. He's narrating like the movie every like once in a while, so I thought it was gonna be like, okay, there's this monkey. Like I thought he was gonna sit him down and be like, all right, I'm gonna tell you everything, and this is why I'm not around. This is why I have been acting so weird, and that just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Until like they were already at gunpoint, and he's just like, go inside and get the monkey. He's like, what the fuck, monkey? And he's just like, there's a monkey. It's evil. Don't call it a toy. Anyways, I'm like, what do you mean? Anyways, like this is the whole thing. Me personally, my gripe is I didn't really like the thing that they did with Bill, because like the movie was on track pretty well the whole time, where it was just like, oh, the monkey's just out there and it's killing people and whatever, and then he gets calls on the phone. It's like, hey, the monkey's back, we gotta go destroy it. And then it turns out that his twin brother who called him on the phone, like he's just been like obsessed with the thing the whole time, and he built like shrines to it, and he made his kids, or not his kids, but his childhood funeral suit, like he tailored it to be bigger, but it still looks like ridiculous on him, and he wants to use the monkey to kill his brother. So he's just like winding it up repeatedly, hoping that the one person that he kills is his brother, and he's just gonna keep trying to kill his brother, and he doesn't care how many other people have to die before him. And I'm like, you couldn't just shoot him?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
like,
no, yeah, no.
It doesn't take requests. Just go fucking shoot him if you don't like him so much.
Exactly.
But anyways,
true. And the other thing with the Bill situation, like that thing where he tailored the suit. See, in my mind, there's a scene earlier in the movie when they're kids where Bill says, like, or where Hal is looking at Bill and he's like, are you gonna take your suit off? And he's like, no, because eventually I'll have to put it back on again for a funeral. So if I never take it off, I'll never have to put it back on again, so there won't be another funeral.
He's just like this crazy hermit who just never grew out of that.
Yeah, like I thought that would have been better, but he wasn't, because he did take it off. He didn't put it back on. He didn't tailor it until he knew the monkey came back.
Yeah. See, I thought it was gonna be like he couldn't get over the monkey thing, so he'd like squandered away in his home, became like a hermit, a shut-in, and like he's just been like, he was gonna meet up with Hal was gonna meet up with Bill, and he would just have like all these papers and like monkeys, and he's like tracking it down, and like it had driven him mad the whole time. I mean, it did, but like he had driven it mad. Just like I've been trying to figure out this monkey. I've tracked it back so time, and then you would get like backstory on the monkey, where it came from, whatever demon is possessing it or something.
How their dad came into
possession. I tracked it back. Dad got it from here, and that guy got it from him. I tracked it back as far as it goes. It's possessed by Desmodius or something, or Moloch, and I'm like I thought it was gonna go that route, But then it was just like, no, he's just obsessed with it because he wants to use it to kill his brother. And I was like, it's all right. I mean, I'm kind of with it, and like, I mean, they didn't like mess that up or anything. Like, I think the way they went with it is fine, but I don't think it's. I don't. I never really would have imagined that's the way this movie was going. But it's like yeah, all right, unexpected, but all right.
So there's another thing is that this actor, the guy who's playing the twins, like he does he does a really good job as Hal. And as Bill, I mean, he does a good job as Bill, like what Bill needs to be kind of thing. But like I don't know what it is. Like he fits better as Hal than he does as Bill.
I mean, he separated them fantastically.
He did.
Like
he
they
did
really
a very
did
good
feel
job
like
at
two
that.
separate people. And the kid as well.
The kid did good.
The kid did great.
Yeah.
Not Petey, the kid who played both of Hal and Bill as kids.
Oh
that was one kid.
Oh, that was one
roles.
Kid?
Yeah, that was not twins in real life.
That wasn't twins?
Nope,
they normally do that.
That's both roles.
No.
Yeah, I think he did a much better job. Well, I mean, the characters changed drastically as they got older, but like as kids, that was very impressive that was one kid playing both Hal and Bill. Like that was super impressive.
That is cool, actually. I really like that, actually.
Yeah, because normally when it's twins or kids or something like that, you'll just use real twins, or like if it's like a really young kid, they'll just have twins play one kid.
Yeah,
you know, like they did in Full House, where they have two twins playing the same character, because they can't just put all that on one. But but this kid taking on two roles and then just like embodying both characters so succinctly that pretty much everyone just assumed that they were just real life twins that they picked.
Nah, he did a great job. He definitely killed it. Especially like because he had the two very different characters to play as well. Like as adults, they got a little like it wasn't like nerd and bully. You know what I mean? Like that was their whole dynamic, really. Like they never felt like brothers until the very end, like the last moment of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was very well done. That whole final area, that whole final like sequence at the end of the movie, like where with that one building. First off, the fact that this movie gets you even when someone doesn't die, like the moment where they send Petey into the building, and he's like walking through, and a fucking axe comes from the side, and it bends itself on the wall. You like audibly screamed at that.
that really got me. I don't know about screamed, but like that.
You're like, oh,
yeah. I made a noise. I wouldn't call it scream. Yeah.
But like,
what was it that I screamed in? Craven.
What?
Craven. I screamed. Oh, yeah. I screamed in Craven.
Oh yeah, because the dude got split in half. You're like, oh, dude's a demon.
He was on demon time. I checked.
But and then there's the whole like he gets, he starts to figure it out, like he said, oh, there's booby traps, so he starts looking out for it, and it like starts that Rube Goldberg machine that doesn't quite finish. You're like, oh, what the fuck is this?
Because he doesn't like fully trigger it with the swords above him.
But then they have that whole sequence, and then Hal comes in, and then he realizes the monkey didn't kill Hal, it killed the dude, because he got Petey to turn the key. Yeah. And like So he like tries to force it, and then it just goes fucking crazy and like kills almost the whole town.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really crazy because then you like as they're like at the end of the movie they're driving past like all the wreckage and shit like that. And 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 like they go past bodies and I'm like looking, I'm like, oh, what is that? Oh, that dead guy. And then as they go past and you see it's a man dead because a surfboard had fallen out of the plane and embedded through his body, pinning him to a tree. There's an entire surfboard
yeah.
struck through him.
The woman with the flaming fucking baby carriage.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
That's
and
just
then there's the
dark.
way, and then there's Bill, like when he died, like, because they're like, maybe like they have this reconciliation with each other, and then fucking the Rube Goldberg machine triggers, and a bowling ball launches itself and takes his fucking head clean off and smushes it into the ceiling.
Yeah, I think like I saw that coming. But I think like
Yeah.
the extra detail of like the bowling ball embedded into the wall and then like the tiny like smearing of like you can see like an ear and like his squished eye just like surrounding it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of
It's
good.
also a really nice callback as well, because earlier in the movie, there's a moment where Hal is wishing his brother dead, and he's holding the same, like he's having a dream where he's holding the same bowling ball over his head, and he squishes him. He squishes his
Yeah.
head with it, so it's a nice callback. Speaking of the ending of the movie, I do like that's another big change from the book, because the book ends with Hal and Petey dropping the monkey into like the deepest part of the lake,
Hmm.
and like hopefully vanquishing it forever. And there's like even like a newspaper clipping at the end of the story where like a bunch of fish just end up dead in the lake and they don't know why, and because the monkey's just killing all the fish.
But we all know why.
Yeah. But like the movie ends where it's like we take responsibility, like we are the watchers, we are the keepers of the monkey, and we're going to make sure no one ever turns the key again. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I like that. And they like drive off. And then in rolls a fucking busload of cheerleaders all like hanging out the side of the bus, and you're all cheering, and you're at the point where like, oh yeah, movie's over. And they're all cheering out the side of the bus, and a fucking truck comes by and cleaves all their heads off. And we're just like, oh.
I knew something was gonna happen. I thought like a truck was just gonna like crash into the bus, but just coming in and just chopping everyone's head off immediately is far crazier. Um, Isaac totally skipping over the fucking pale horseman that showed up for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah, that was another one where like,
Uninvited, frankly.
well, it was nice because it's a cool thing, because it's like Death rode into town and like he acknowledged them, like they are like they are the keepers of this thing that causes all of
Is
this.
that
Like,
what it is? You know I hate when movies do that when like they have like a coherent storyline you're following along and then they throw in something metaphorical and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means because that's not like cuz like what is this real? Is it not real? The other kid was looking at it, so it must be real. What the fuck does that mean? That doesn't make any sense. This I kind of give it a pass because A, the movie's like kind of comical. It's not really taking itself seriously. It's more of like I don't fucking know what it means.
yeah, no, it
'Cause
is death. It's actual death.
I
Like
know,
acknowledging
Isaac,
them.
from the book.
You mean the
The
Bible?
thing, yes. And what does Bible mean? It comes from the word biblos, which means book. Isaac.
Fair.
Well, that's the thing, is that when the Pale One shows up, it's the end of the earth. So, is it just the apocalypse now, or are they still good?
Oh, okay, I understand that. I think people just like to use Because they brought up death earlier in the movie. They brought up the writer. Like,
Right,
earlier in the
but
movie. I
there's
think they were
like
just trying to, like,
they
they
could have
like
just
to,
had
what
the
I'm saying
Grim
is, it's
Reaper.
like,
The
yeah.
listen to me. They could have just had the Grim Reaper stroll up though.
True.
If it was just death acknowledging them, or like, oh, you made it out, or whatever, like some kind of thing. But the thing is that the Pale Horseman specifically is like, he brings the end of the world. So is that what's
Yeah.
happening now? Is the monkey going to kill the whole world? Is the world already killed because it went like
No,
this, and
I think they're just
it's literally
misinterpreting.
just those two left? I think they were misusing the Pale Horseman is
Yeah, that's
what's
what it is.
going on
Yes.
here.
Yeah, they would just misused it to
It's not
represent
me.
death itself. No.
Yeah.
They that you are correct. They just used it to represent, like, death itself, kind of thing.
Yeah, which I got that. I got that. It's just
Yeah.
like using that specific depiction of it comes with, side effects.
I think the only reason they used that version of death is because it was brought up earlier in the movie, and that's the only reason
Yeah, it
why.
was. Right.
But I thought that, yeah, that was cool too. I
It did go
don't
hard.
really have, yeah, it did. It was like, cuz like all the smoke like wisping off of him as well. Like, it looked really nice. Uh
True.
I don't know if I have much else with this movie.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it
good to
like,
wrap up as well.
yeah. I'm giving this movie an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really fun. Uh, all the kills were just like, huh, I cannot wait to traumatize Alex with this movie.
You're gonna kill him.
He's
Uh,
fine. He watched Terrifier 2. He's okay. We will
yeah, I'm
desensitize this man.
yeah, I'm also gonna give this movie an 8 out of 10. The kills were, again,
Deaths.
every single one was a punch in the nuts. It was a shock to the system. Every single kill went a step further than you thought it was going to be. So like
It was extremely
it was,
gruesome.
you were always thrown for a loop and in for a surprise with every single death on screen, and they didn't let up with it. It was crazy. And the humor actually did kind of blend into it quite nice.
Yeah, it
So
did.
yeah, highly recommend. Kills were
Gonna
absolutely
be
crazy. Some of the best.
gonna be looking around. Oh, I didn't even know he acted in this movie. He was one of the people in the movie.
Yep.
Osgood Perkins. I didn't know that he was Uncle Chip.
Yep. Okay. Moving on to our last film of the night, we have Dog Man. Everyone loves Dog
Dog
Man.
man.
Isaac read all the books and prepared for this movie. It's not true. It's not true.
All right.
Go ahead.
When a police officer and his faithful police dog get injured in the line of duty, a harebrained but life-saving surgery fuses the two of them together, and Dogman is born. As Dogman learns to embrace his new identity, he must stop feline supervillain Petey the Cat from cloning himself and going on a crime spree.
I gotta say, for being based off of a book series I've never read,
Yes.
and having a cast of almost all people I don't particularly care for,
Yeah.
I quite like this.
No, this was very, so here's a fun thing about this is that it's a book series that you never read before, but you've also read the Captain Underpants books, and let's be
I
honest,
have.
Captain Underpants, if it did anything well, it did visual comedy really, really well,
Oh,
and this movie leans
fantastically.
heavily into that. This movie leans heavily into that.
I knew I was in for a good time. Sorry, I knew I was in for a decent time here when they're driving recklessly through the streets and there's two guys carrying a crate that says box of bees. I'm just like, I thought that was funny because it's like, why would you store those in a box. That doesn't make any sense. And then
And then
they
he
drive straight through and it breaks open, and then a bunch of like letter B's fall out under the ground, and I'm just like, what? That doesn't. Okay.
it's really good, and like a lot of the jokes really do land. Like there's the part where like after the accident happens and all that, where like they're like your head is bad and your body is bad, and they're like, and the doctor just goes, "What if we sewed the dog's head on the man's body?" And they just it's silent for like 10 whole seconds, and they're like, great idea. Like I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, and you
Like
say the visual humor, like some of it's like blink and you miss it. The X-rays of both the dog and the man that they had up in the background, they had leaves over where their peeners were.
yeah,
They had
like
just had like a fig leaf censoring
like
it, even though that wouldn't show up on an X-ray.
yeah, and then like all the what was the one uh I can't remember it. Oh yeah, the science center, the what was it called?
Oh, it was like
Uh
the super important science building over there.
and then it shows the building, and the building is named the super important science building over there. Like
Like
that's
it
the
says,
name
oh
of the
look, over
building.
there is part of the name. Yeah, I was like,
Like
it's
it's
always clever.
really
They were
good.
always clever with that.
Yeah,
So
so
on,
the
so
villain of this movie is a cat called Petey, played
is Pete
by
Davidson.
Pete
As
Davidson.
Pete Davidson. Not a big fan
I
of Pete Davidson, but
He did a good
hey,
job.
yeah, he did. I'd have to say. So I think we're not gonna have a whole lot to talk about this, but I think the main points that I want to touch on here is the comedy was actually pretty good. I did find
Yes.
myself like actually earnestly laughing at like a couple of the jokes because they were just funny. Um,
Yeah.
the art style like blended very, very, very well to the books.
Oh, yeah.
Like
It really
it
did.
yeah, because like
It was impressive how well they did it.
down to the backgrounds and the details and like everything like and adapting any art design from 2D to 3D is always risky and troubling and hard. Like the Peanuts movie did that very well, and now
Mhm.
I don't recall the Captain Underpants movie very well. But definitely this literally brought those books to life. They did an
Yeah, like even
exceptional job at that.
like the little I've seen of the book itself, like they did a very very good job adapting it. It worked
Yeah,
a lot
I
better
mean
than I thought it could have.
it's just the art style that they used for when George and Harold made the comics in the books.
Yeah.
Like they're right, so because that's what Dogman is. It's a comic that they made. And then the last
Yeah.
thing that I liked is that it's not annoying. Right,
No, that's the other thing.
we are dreading the Smurfs movie, the upcoming Smurfs movie, because we know it's just going to be insufferably terrible. I hate that studios will just use the fact that it's a kids movie as an excuse to not put in any effort, or because either it's like, hey, it's a kids movie, they're not gonna care, you don't have to work as hard. For Smurfs, I mean, good. I'm proud of them. Not many movies will just let the voice actors record all their lines from the comfort of their bed, but they're either too lazy or they just fill it with annoying songs and bright colors like Trolls does.
Yeah.
But Dogman is like it's enjoyable. Okay, there's stuff
Yeah.
happening and it's not
Like there's
annoying.
stuff for the kids and there's stuff for like adults can be like, "Hi, that's funny. That was
Right.
good.
The
That was a
worst
funny joke."
part we this is our policy here at the Cinema Regulars. Okay, Isaac's girlfriend has a daughter.
Mhm.
I have a new baby nephew. We're both going to soon be taking children to go see kids movies in the near
Mhm.
future. So a large reason of why we go see kids movies is A, because we like animation and we're interested in like that and what they're doing with that. B, because we're just hanging out and it's something to do. But C, because we like to keep tabs on where kids movies are at the given time and just keep track of where that's going, because eventually we're going to be the ones taking kids to that. And if I have to sit through something like Smurfs, like this is that's the biggest problem with kids movies, is like the
Yeah.
adults want to die and they paid full price and for popcorn and drinks and snacks, and they paid all this money to want to kill themselves halfway through the movie. Right? Like, kids' movies can be enjoyable for adults. I don't know why you're allergic
Migration.
to that. Migration, exactly. It was a decent film. Wild
It
Robot
was a
was
great film.
great for, you know. Family movie means that everyone is capable of enjoying this. It's not brain rot for kids.
I went over to my dad's house. I was over at my dad's house today, and my nephew, my new nephew, was over there, and they were watching
Yeah,
Incredibles. Like that
yeah,
is a
it's a
great.
great movie. Everyone
It's
can
a
enjoy
great.
that.
Exactly. Like like I actually found myself. I was planning on just stopping in for a little bit and saw they were watching Incredibles. I sat down and watched the rest of the movie before I went to work. Like, because it's just
Exactly.
fun to watch. Like
Exactly.
like that's the amount of movies that are made nowadays. And trust me, we would fucking know that we watch, and like it's one thing if your movie is you watch it once and never again because the twist is ruined or something like that, or it's more of like an experience, like a cinematic experience kind of thing.
Mhm.
But it's another when you're gonna watch the movie once and you're like, cool. Anyways, like
Right.
it's this was a very nice change of pace. Like it's so nice to see a movie meant for kids that you had fun with. Like we'll bring it up later, but like we also it'll be on the next episode. We also watched Paddington, the new Paddington movie.
Hmm.
We watched both the other two before this. Those are great family fun movies. Like a whole family
Exactly.
can enjoy those movies.
There's a difference between kids movies and family movies. And it's exactly
There
right
is.
there in the name. It's for kids, okay? And the other one's for families. It's appropriate for kids, but the parents can still find enjoyment out of it. It's funny or they like the characters or whatever. Like, we steer clear of like specifically kids movies. That's why you will never see a Viva Kids movie reviewed on Cinema Regulars, because we don't want to die.
We are not, repeat, we are not. You could not pay us enough money to go watch that fucking Zoopocalypse movie or whatever the fuck it's called.
You could give us enough alcohol though, and we'll watch it from home.
Maybe, maybe. You know,
That
we
could
get
be
them
fun.
that we get the subscriber count and that view count up. Maybe we can start getting some money for it.
Hey, yo, we get the membership block going, we get the membership section, and then we can get in all the drunk reactions to movies and shit like that. That could be something
Crazy
going
fun.
on. That could be fun. That's the kind of stuff. It's like, all right, we didn't want to pay money for this, so we paid money for booze and watching this for free. That
Mhm.
sounds like quality content.
That does. But
Anyway, I don't have much to say about this. It was just a nice,
no,
fun time and surprisingly
I
funny for
did.
what it was.
The actors that were a part of this movie, I really liked. Especially, I like that they got an actual kid to play Little Petey.
Yeah,
Like they got a real kid, and also it felt like a kid. Like you know, like they put kids in
yeah,
movies these days. It's like it felt like what a child would be like. It's like the fact, like the scenes where he just keeps asking why is really. really like I'm like, man, I feel this from when my little brother was that young, because he just
Right.
starts asking questions.
Well, because like that's a trope, right? The little kid saying
Yeah,
why after all that, but it
but that's what
didn't feel
kids
like
do.
the annoying trope. It just felt like a kid like actually saying that.
Yeah. Uh, the other thing, is obviously I'm Isaac. I always like to look at things. Uh,
Oh god.
the fucking cameraman in this movie, like the guy that was
Seamus.
following around Sarah, yeah, Seamus.
Seamus.
That's fucking Pippin from Lord of the Rings.
Is that the one that was on Lost or no?
No.
I don't know who that is then.
I believe so. I might be wrong. Hold please.
Nope. It was not the one from
No, it's
Lost.
the nope. No, yeah, Mary is the one
Then
on
I
Lost.
then I don't know who that is. Outside of Lord of the Rings, I don't know who that is. I don't know
Cause he's
what
nothing
else he's
outside of
known
Lord of
for.
the Rings.
Ah, fair enough.
I think
Nope,
he's like
now he's Seamus.
yeah.
He is the guy
There you
from
go.
Lord of the Rings and Seamus.
And Seamus.
What
Uh
a record here.
this was a really fun movie. I think we can move into the rankings
Rankings.
here. Yeah,
Fair enough.
I'm gonna give this movie a 6 out of 10. This was a lot of fun. I actually greatly enjoyed it. It was more. I am shocked at how much I actually enjoyed myself going to go see this.
Yeah. So I'm also going to give this a 6 out of 10. And that's a lot better than it sounds. Because I would qualify this as a kids movie. You know, something like The Wild Robot is definitely, enjoyable for all ages. It's not tied directly to kids, and in
Yeah,
fact, it would probably take a fairly older kid to really understand a lot of what's happening in that movie. Um,
yeah,
but as far as movies that are like specifically made for kids, like Dogman, like Garfield, I believe a 6 out of 10 is probably the highest that a children's movie could receive from me, unless
yeah.
it's something just completely blowing it out of the water.
Mm.
So 6 out of 10 is actually a pretty decent score. I had a lot of fun with this movie, and it was just something nice to distract from Captain America.
Real.
All right. That should wrap us up for this podcast here. Mr. Isaac, what are we
Yes.
looking at for next time?
So next episode we have two movies definitely confirmed. We have Paddington in Peru and The Unbreakable Boy. We confirmed because we have already watched them. We're splitting this episode up a bit. We had a bit too many movies.
And what are
But
we
we will
waiting
also
for?
well, we are waiting for we don't know. We don't
Oh?
actually know. We're going to go see Marcus Theaters does the mystery movie every once in a while, and it's one of those rare occasions where I actually have off on a Monday, so we're able to go and check it out. We're hoping for something for a movie that we're like really looking forward to. We're hoping for Novocaine. That's what we're hoping for. But I
Regardless
mean, if
of
it
what it
isn't,
is, we're going to cover it on the podcast, but we are hoping
yes.
that it's Novocaine.
We are hoping that it's okay. I hope it doesn't go like how the last two times we chanced a mystery movie went.
Why did you say that? Why did you say that out loud? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe because it keeps us going back to the theaters and bringing these videos back here to you. Be sure to check out our Letterboxd accounts on screen now. And until next time, guys, that's a wrap.
Roll credits.